All right, everyone, welcome back to my channel. Verneda Adele coming in, your anti-racist executive producer. And today's topic, as we talk about in 2026, is all about, can you identify? Do you know when you're looking at? Have you ever just seen a really terrible RFP? And before you went ahead and signed up to submit a proposal for that said terrible RFP, maybe you didn't see the signs. Maybe you didn't realize that it was a terrible RFP for your event production services, for your expertise, until it was too late. That's possible. It happens. So today we're going to talk about some of the signs of what makes for a terrible RFP. Okay, so first thing I want to tap into is, and I'm actually going to be using a real life example. I'm not going to say the name of the company, the organization, or the person, but I am going to use this RFP that came across my desk recently as an example of looking at the fine print, unpacking what it is that they are presenting, and then being able to identify like, oh, this is actually a terrible RFP. And it does not make sense to submit a proposal, because not every single RFP that comes across your desk is actually going to be worth your time. So if this is your first time in this space, my name is Verneda Adele. I have over 20 years of experience as an event executive producer, an award-winning, an award-nominated producer based out of New York City. And we want to help all of our emerging event producers, those who are at the beginning of their career, those at middle, and those who are looking to build their first six-figure business in events. This is the channel for you. And as I said, today we are talking all about, can you identify what constitutes a bad RFP? And for anybody out there who actually doesn't know what an RFP is, RFP stands for a request for proposal. And in this case, I had a doozy come across my desk this week, and I thought that no better way to kind of deep dive into understanding the difference between a good and a bad RFP than to look at this example. Okay, so this is actually for quite a large scale event. And that by itself is definitely not the red flag. The red flag started coming up when I started looking at the time frame for the event, the cost structure for the event, and the expectation of the event producer or the production company that would take it on. So I'm going to start with actually, you know what? I'm going to actually go reverse. I'm going to start with the expectation of the event producer or the company that's going to take it on. So first and foremost, I love the fact that this organization wants you to get into bed with them. They are looking for you not just to lead the effort, to provide your expertise, to say this is our roadmap to get to success. They actually want you to get in bed with them. And that is red flag number one. Why y'all don't have enough resources to get started? If the client does not have enough resources or seed money to get started, they are probably not ready to have their event. And if they are going to ask you as the production company or the event producer to take on responsibility of utilizing your own resources to start the event, bad, red flag number one. We're not doing that. We are not doing that. However, they sweeten the deal now. They might be asking you to start with your own seed money to produce this mega, like, imagine somewhere, this would actually be a citywide event. So I would imagine anywhere of an expectation between at least 10 to 20,000 people would want that they would be looking to be in attendance. It's an all-day event with various activities, various components. And then but they don't have no money to start with, and they want you to fit the bill for them to get started. However, they sweeten it by saying, hey, don't worry about that, because you're going to get your money back. The way that this RFP is set up, it is designed for the event producer to recoup their money by being also in charge of the revenue stream. So there are cases where this isn't the worst thing ever. Just having a revenue share model with the client in and of itself is not a no-go, don't pass, go, don't get $200, stop, red sign. That not by itself. But the way this is set up is, again, there's no seed money. They still want you to fully disclose all of the costs. They want you to take on the cost of producing the event. But then when it comes to the outreach for potential sponsors, for potential funding sources, you have to go through the client. Wait, what? The client has to sign off on any outreach that you would do for potential sponsorship. Red flag number two. So they're saying we don't have any seed money, nor are we ready to bring sponsors to the table, but whatever sponsors that you are going to reach out to, you have to funnel through us. First of all, those might be your relationships, and if you have built relationships with sponsors over time, don't give your contacts away to your client like that. That is, rule number 2. Do not give your client access to your Rolodex without a proper fee structure in place. In this case, this is more the client just asking you to open their doors because you don't know what they're going to do after this event. There might be a rev share model for this event, but the way that they're structuring it, they could take those sponsors on their own and cut you out of it in the years going forward, and you don't want to set yourself up to do that. The second piece about the revenue share is the RFP also says that there's a cap on the rate for the producer. So there's a revenue model. So yes, in the rev share model, you could potentially have a very profitable event out of this over and above your base fee. However, I don't agree with the base fee. For the number of components that they have put in this RFP, they're saying the max cap on the base fee for the event producer or production company for this event is $100K. And it does not match the amount of work that they're asking to be done. So always look at whether or not the dollars make sense. Do the dollars make sense? You have to look at the number of hours, the overhead cost that it's going to cost you, the number of people that you need on the project. And if it is not making sense, take that as a red flag. That is red flag number 3. It doesn't make sense. The amount of work that they're asking for and what they are claiming as a base fee with no actual prediction of what that revenue share model might yield you, it's a red flag. It's a red flag. And now red flag on this particular RFP number 3 is the timeline. This is actually the craziest part of the entire RFP. So the timeline on this RFP is essentially no time. It's an RFP that came out the first week of January 2026. The proposals are due this week by the end of the week. And then there is just this crazy outline of time frame of when their committee will make a decision, which is allegedly mid-February. However, in order to get confirmed, there's all these other bureaucratic levels that your proposal has to go through in order to get the actual contract. And the length of time between the committee selecting you and the time that you would actually get the contract to go forward is April of 2026 for an event that's supposed to be executed in June of 2026. So you mean to tell me that in the matter of 8 weeks, you have no money, you want me to fit the bill, you want me to find sponsors, you want me to find funding streams, you want me to find participants, you want me to find vendors, you want me to share in the marketing, you want me to get the people out, and I'm supposed to sign up to do that at a minimum of $100,000. No. And for those of you who say, oh, $100K in 2 months sounds like a lot of money, that is shortchanging you. I promise you. Don't forget, and we're going to make this as the next video. Don't forget, you always have to count your initial costs like taxes, how much you're paying yourself, money to put aside for staffing before you can look at what money you're actually taking in for a job. $100,000 on a proposal of this size is nothing. And quite honestly, there's a chance that you will end up in the hole, especially because they're not funding the output. And so let's say you take this contract and you don't successfully get those sponsors, guess who's going to be left holding the bag? You as the production company. No, don't do it. So everything in this lesson for today is to be able to get, as you continue to grow over time and you read RFPs, 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 you will learn to be able to discern what is a good RFP and what's a bad RFP. This is a bad RFP. You also, and it's no different, like if you're in the corporate world and you have looked at a bunch of different job descriptions and the salaries that are commensurate to it, you will be able to see what is a good salary base for the job that's being asked to do and what is not. You always have to count your costs before you can start to build. So I want you to tap back in next Tuesday night. We'll be back 6:30 p.m. Eastern, going live right here at Verneda Adele, where you're tapping in with your anti-racist event executive producer. Also tap me up on Instagram at Verneda Adele. Tonight we talked about, can you identify a bad RFP? For all of my fellow event professionals out there, understand your right to thrive and continue to tap in this channel. If you're looking to make your first six-figure year as an event producer, you're going to get it right here. Now let the world know how you'll use your hot sauce today.